Yep.
Okay. So, hi everyone. This is Anjali Chauhan, and I completed my graduation from Shahid Rajguru College. I was born and brought up in Saharanpur, Uttar Pradesh, and I completed my schooling from Rainbow School itself. Then I came to Delhi to complete my graduation in Bachelor of Management Studies from Shahid Rajguru College, Delhi University. And I had an amazing experience there because I am a kind of person who is not just involved in academics but also like extracurricular activities, and leadership is one such thing which I'm very fond of. So like in my first year I joined around 3 to 4 different societies. Like my course was Bachelor of Management Studies, so I did in my first year I did not join the societies which are related to marketing or let's say finance, because those are the subjects which I already be reading in my curriculum. So I chose the societies such as NSS, National Service Scheme, where I can do some social service part or get to know the different things. I go to a core committee of student council where I get to learn how to organize such a grand events and fest. Like everyone heard about the DU Fest, so what the preparation goes behind it. So I kind of joined those societies in my first year as a member, and then I worked there. Apart from it, I used to be a very active student in like whatever events were happening in the college. I am aware of all of them, so I just don't want to miss any of it. And in my first year this was all of it. Then in second year we had COVID, so I had
Mhm.
to shift offline from home. So but like continuing it, since it was from home, but we never felt it like okay, like college is different and we are different, we had to do nothing. It's never like that, because studies were there, classes were going on there, but in comparison to that, society's work was also on the same board. And in my second year I got different leadership roles. Like I was selected as the president of a national service scheme, so I had the complete responsibility of like somewhere around, I guess, 80 students, and I was responsible to make them complete their 120 hours in social service, and that too in COVID period. Apart from this, I was also the vice president of the student council of my college. Like we had 14 departments, so and student council is the one who is responsible for the students of all 14 departments.
Mhm.
So I was vice president at in that year. Apart from this, I joined Inactus. So Inactus is also one of a very, I would say, growing society nowadays. It also works on social service, but in that particular Inactus, we try to make people do themselves for their living. Like for example, we used to train them in different aspects. Like I remember we had one project where we helped them to learn how to make diya from a cow dung, so that the cost is minimal and they can use it to like get the employment and get the like their minimal charges, so that it can make their living better. So that was the work of Inactus. So I was the research and development head there in my second year. Apart from this, I was also a member of different societies. So I cannot say that, okay, in COVID, I just enjoyed there and sit and relax. No, I really worked hard. I used to sit in the corner and I used to spend my time along with my friends also. Like I used to enjoy as well. It's not like that, okay, I have to do this. I was always busy, busy, busy. No, it's not that thing. It's just the matter of priority, that okay, if this work needs to be done at this particular time, so I have to set my priorities and I have to manage my time accordingly. So this was regarding the second year. And in second year only, I got to learn from my seniors that in order to get into corporates, you also need to have some internships, because
Mhm.
internships helps them to get to know what the corporate culture exactly is. So since everything was online, so it was, I would say, kind of advantage as well, because internships also were online. And in online there is one thing that you it is pretty manageable to manage academics as well as society work and internships. So I remember I did internship with Chayos. It was a 4 month HR internship, online internship. So initial and that internship also really helped me to get into the insights of what an HR actually works and what are the different like I would say sub parts of HR, like HR technology, then there is one talent acquisition, then there is one for compensation, then learning and development. Because I also learned one thing that many people, like suppose if I'm in graduation also, we don't know whether the graduation, suppose if I am doing a graduation in BMS, like there can be a possibility that during the third year that person might not get interest in any of the subject on BMS, and they might think that okay, this is not my interest area, I am at the wrong path. So internships is one thing which really help you to know whether you like it or you don't like it. I would say internship and societies, because सोसाइटीज में जब हम काम करते हैं तब भी हमें पता चलता है कि अगर हमें ये काम करने में मजा आ रहा है, सपोज मैं इवेंट्स ऑर्गेनाइज करवा रही हूँ, उसमें बहुत टाइम लगता है, पूरा दिन जाता है, एक्स्ट्रा आवर्स जा रहे हैं, उसके लिए ना तो कोई आपको पे कर रहा है, ना कुछ एप्रिसिएशन आप एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, मिल जाती है तो इट्स वेरी गुड,
Yep,
बट आप
yep,
एक्सपेक्ट करके नहीं चलते हो कि आपको मिलेगा ही मिलेगा। वहां
correct.
पे आप बस सेल्फलेसली आप वर्क कर रहे हो, आप क्योंकि वो आपका इंटरेस्ट एरिया है। सो अगर मेरे को उसके लिए एक्स्ट्रा आवर्स स्पेंड करने पड़ते थे तो मैं करती थी, बिकॉज मेरे को वो चीज पसंद थी, दैट वाज ऑफ माय इंटरेस्ट एरिया। तो वहां से आई गेट टू नो दैट ओके, इट इज समथिंग विच आई रियली enjoy while doing it. And internships, like I was telling about the HR internship at Chayos, so there initially 2 months I worked with HR technology department, so they really helped me to learn the software, like the software which companies used, the internal softwares, and how the files used to be managed and everything, how the corporates interact on different platforms, etc. So it was like a boost for me to enter into the corporate world. I can say it will be my first step during those days. So initial 2 months it was for HR tech. Then I also helped them in designing the policies, because COVID hit, so they had to redefine their policies, the grooming policies, etc. Because it's a Chayos, it's a chai brand, so they had to redefine it. Then in the last month, since it was a 4 month internship, so in the last month, I remember I was aligned with the L&D department, and there my task was used to be to make the videos and the content which really motivate their employees to work harder in the situation.
How
So
did
I
you find
remember,
the
yeah.
internship? How did you find the internship? It is directly from the colleges, or you searched on online and got in directly connected and got the internship?
Okay, so this particular one, talking about the
Yeah,
Chayos, this one, I think our TNP cell brought it up.
got it.
So from there, I got the opportunity and I filled the form and attached my resume. Then there were several rounds, first resume shortlist, then we had an interview, and then probably we get selected. So I remember, I guess 4 students was selected for that internship, 3 to 4, yeah.
Okay.
But apart from it, 2 internships also I did priorly, which I found it on Internshal and various internship platforms. But uh, since at that time I was not really aware that like I tell okay, so let me share. So I did one in media intern.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, when seniors used to say it, na, that you have to get into an internship, you have to do it, let it be 1 month, okay, even if it's paid, unpaid, it doesn't matter, but you have to do internship. So उस टाइम पे क्या होता है ना, फर्स्ट ईयर में आप बिल्कुल नए होते हो, कॉलेज में आप आए होते हो, आपको पता नहीं होता कि इंटर्नशिप ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है या सोसाइटीज में जाना इंपॉर्टेंट है, या क्या एक्चुअली आपको करना है। आपको कोई बोलता है कि आपको इंटर्नशिप करनी चाहिए, तो आपको लगता है कि बस कुछ भी कर लो, कोई भी इंटर्नशिप कर लो, काउंट होना चाहिए आपके पास। बट आई थिंक ऐसा नहीं होता।
That's
आपको
wrong.
पता होना चाहिए कि आप इंटर्नशिप कर रहे हो तो आप कौन सी प्रोफाइल के लिए कर रहे हो, आप कौन सी कंपनी के लिए कर रहे हो, उसमें आपकी कोई लर्निंग है या नहीं है। बिकॉज दिस आई ऑल्सो अंडरस्टूड व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग मीडिया एंड PR internship. So it was a 2 month internship and it was with one of the startup, I would say. And I generally heard that startup used to work very hard, so I was very ready because I wanted to learn something new. But unfortunately I couldn't get any learning there. Like I remember I used to sit idle there, I didn't used to get any work. They hardly gave 2 to 3 tasks, and at the end of the month they used to give you a certificate, and they make it fancy by saying that okay, we'll provide you LORs and everything. And as a fresher, you don't know the value of LORs and everything. You feel okay, we did this internship, we had this LOR, so we had a very good resume or profile for that matter. But unfortunately, that really didn't help. And now I really didn't mention those internships as well, because whenever we mention anything in our resume or in our profile, so the interviewer will ask question about that. And if you will say that you have no learning, then it's your fault that you are even mentioning it on the resume. बिकॉज आप मतलब इससे आपकी पर्सनालिटी गलत जा रही है, इससे उनको लग रहा है कि आपको काम से मतलब नहीं है, आपको नंबर से मतलब है कि ओके यू हैव दिस मच नंबर्स ऑफ इंटर्नशिप्स. So I like, it's my personal belief that I started focusing on quality rather than the quantity.
So
So
in your
yeah.
understanding or your experience, what is the current trend? Means most of the guys are aware of their career path, say in the first year or maybe just going to second year, or they realize very late that in third year they need to, okay, I need to focus on marketing or branding or do internship, etc., etc. What is the what is your experience right now in your college, or otherwise also in your friend circles also, that do they have clarity in the first year itself, or they take time and then probably take
Okay.
randomly?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So what happens is when we need to, I'll take it from 10th class. When we
Hmm.
complete the 10th, at that time we got the option whether to select commerce, PCM, PCB, or arts, humanities, let's say.
Hmm.
So students are not really aware what to select. Let me be very honest, because when I was in 10th, आई नो ओके आई हैव रेड पीसीएम इन 10th. हमें पता होती है कि साइंस में ये ब्रांचेस है. कॉमर्स का हमें कुछ आइडिया नहीं होता है. आर्ट्स का हमें स्टिल पता होता है, बट वहाँ पे एक मेंटालिटी बन जाती है कि साइंस वाले बच्चे बहुत इंटेलिजेंट होते हैं, उसके बाद कॉमर्स, उसके बाद ह्यूमैनिटीज. तो वहीं से बेस से ही क्लियर नहीं होता है कि आपको एग्जैक्टली करना क्या है. देर लाइक देर आर हार्डली 10 or 20% स्टूडेंट्स हु आर वेरी क्लियर अबाउट देयर करियर, that
Hmm.
okay, I want to be an engineer. And
Hmm.
if that person want to be an engineer, then he will select PCM, and then he will probably apply for IIT James, IIT mains, etc., and go ahead with that.
Correct.
But rest 80%, or I would say 70% people, they used to think around that okay, what else we need to do. So many of the people used to select PCM in order that okay, if we'll do PCM, then at least we can go to any field except medicals. मतलब उनको इतनी क्लैरिटी होती है कि उनको मेडिकल लाइन में नहीं जाना, बट दे आर नॉट श्योर कि किस लाइन में जाना है. एंड दिस हैपेंड विद मी एज वेल, बिकॉज
Okay.
उस टाइम पे अगर हम कहीं पे हमें वर्कशॉप्स वगैरह पे मिलती है ना, तो वो वर्कशॉप्स इस पर्सपेक्टिव से होती हैं कि आप हमारी कोचिंग सेंटर ज्वाइन कर लो. सो वो
Yes.
कभी मतलब बहुत ही फेयर मैंने नहीं देखी है. सो मैंने भी पीसीएम सिलेक्ट किया था 11th 12th में, जस्ट टू थिंक कि अगर मेरे को किसी भी लाइन में जाना होगा तो आई विल बी हैविंग मैथ्स, आई एम हैविंग ऑल द सब्जेक्ट्स, सो आई विल बी एलिजिबल टू अप्लाई टू एनी सब्जेक्ट.
Hmm.
When I completed my 12th, one of my cousins suggested me this course. So BMS was a very new course at that time. I joined BMS in 2019. It was stands for Bachelor of Management Studies. So it, you can say it is similar to BBA, but I would say one step ahead of BBA,
Okay. Okay.
because
Hmm.
BBA is also very common degree, just like BTech, and BMS is little new. And if I'm not wrong, then probably it BMS is only 9 colleges of DU, and apart from DU, one or two colleges of Mumbai or so. Like we do not have many colleges who are offering this subject.
Right. Hmm.
So when we enter in BMS, so in the first year, they used to do the basic, like which commerce students might have already learned in their 11th and 12th, the basic accounting, etc. That all used to happen in first year. And we got an option again in our third year to select one major subject. And the options were such like whether to select finance, marketing, or HR, or operations. बट आई थिंक थर्ड ईयर तक बच्चे को क्लैरिटी इसलिए हो जाती है क्योंकि ये जितने भी सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफर किए जाते हैं आपका मेजर सब्जेक्ट के लिए, वो सब आप एक नेक्स्ट सेमेस्टर में पढ़ चुके होते हो. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मार्केटिंग की अगर मैं बात करूँ, मार्केटिंग और एचआर, तो सेकेंड ईयर में थर्ड सेम एंड फोर्थ सेम में दोनों सब्जेक्ट्स आप पढ़ते हो. तो
Hmm.
आपको आइडिया लग जाता है कि ठीक है, अगर हमने एक सेमेस्टर में लेट से 4 चैप्टर्स थे, उसमें हमने इतना कंटेंट पढ़ा है, तो अगर हम इसको मेजर सिलेक्ट करेंगे तो हमें इसी का इन डेप्थ पढ़ना होगा. तो मेरे को इंटरेस्ट आ रहा है या नहीं आ रहा है. सो आई वुड से कि towards the third year, the person will get a little bit clarity that okay, I am interested into this, so I will go into this. One criteria is this, मतलब major select करने का. The
Hmm.
another one which I usually see in my college as well and in my friends colleges as well, that people used to think कि अगर ये टीचर अच्छा है, मतलब इन कॉलेजेस दिस आल्सो हैपेंस कि
Yes. Yes.
इस वाली स्ट्रीम के टीचर्स अच्छे हैं तो ओके विल गो अहेड विद मार्केटिंग, इसके
Correct.
अच्छे हैं
Correct.
तो ओके विल गो अहेड विद फाइनेंस. और my friend circle is selecting this, so I will also go with this. So this should never happen. You should always go that okay, you studied this particular subject, you get the understanding, you got good marks, so you are interested, then go ahead. Don't just go because friends are going or somebody recommended you, or for that matter. So this is what my personal understanding was, that there is very I would say very much need of the clarity for the students.
So if you say means in first year or maybe just entering the second year, if you people get the good understanding the what
Yes.
path they want to choose, probably then they can say select the internships or various kind of activities that they can do in the campus and then prepare for say better job prospect while they graduate, right?
Yes, internships, societies, and the courses which they have enrolled, the subjects. I think these three things will really help them to select their career path, that in which stream they are actually interested in. Because I remember in societies also one of my friend, she's a very good dancer and she loves dances. I think she is in maybe mathematic honors, or I'm not really sure which actually stream is, but she joined the society in the first year itself, and she was a part of that society in all 3 years. And
Hmm.
towards the end of our like bachelor's degree, she finally decided that okay, she want to pursue dancing as her career path. So
Ah,
she'll be doing masters etc into this.
mhm.
So I would say society also plays a very huge role in selecting the career path. So societies, internships, and of course academics, these three things are very much important.
Great. Let us know means how did you prepare for say job interviews? You must have faced for internship also, for the current job also you must have faced probably. Then in your
Yeah.
first time when you are preparing for interview, how did you make a strategy? How did you prepare so that people can understand it better?
Yes. So okay. So in my our college and placement cell, it was very active during the first year and the third year. So they organized 2 to 3 workshops. So one workshop was very interesting. I really enjoyed that because that person, he really focused on the brief of how to create a resume and how to present it. So that one workshop really helped me to design how to design my resume. And apart from it, in DU colleges, I don't know about the other colleges, but in DU colleges there is one thing, that if you are applying for any society, suppose if I want to get myself into marketing society as a member,
Mm-hmm.
so the council of the marketing society, they will take your interview.
Ah, that's
They
great.
will, yeah, they'll first ask you to submit a Google form, then they will take your interview. So during societies only you will give 2 to 3 interviews. And the student council also of that societies, they used to ask like any random question, like they will give you one photo frame and they'll ask you that okay, if you want to come into marketing society, then just take this photo frame and sell this frame to this person, and this person should be ready to take it. So this kind of things happen, so it really helped you to boost your confidence and how
Mm-hmm.
to present it. So this thing really helped me to present myself in the interviews. Apart from this, I remember during my last year, I gave 2 to 3 interviews. One was for the big firm. It was for the internship. I applied through LinkedIn, and I got to towards the end part. I cleared all the rounds, but towards the end, it got declined just because the profile was not matching my degree. It was like it was a designing profile, and since I am from management background, so at the last step they declined just by saying that okay, everything was good, but since the degree was not matching and the other person had exactly the same thing, so we are just going ahead with that person. So that was one thing which generally happens. Apart from it, I also applied for it was also a startup. Our training and placement cell brought it up, so I cleared that interview. It also had like group discussion round. So in group discussion round, which I personally noticed is that I used to watch content on YouTube to get the guidance, because I think YouTube is a free platform where we can get a very good guidance on how to present yourself in interviews, how to practice guesstimates, how to do like what steps to follow in the group discussions etc. So I used to watch little bit videos related to that. So we had group discussion round, then I had interviews with the HR, then with the manager, so I cleared all of that. But unfortunately I had a I met with an accident and I had an injury in my left leg. So I could not join any organization offline at that time, so I had to reject that offer letter. And I had to go back to my hometown. So rather than, so I would say I got my degree in 2022, like last year I passed out. But I joined Aeon this year, just
Okay.
because yeah, I also remember I gave the interview of Aeon last year as well. Our college placement came and
Mm.
I gave the interview for Aeon, but again due to injury I could not get into it, so I just could not give the last round. So I could not join any organization at that time. But during that tenure also, I got an opportunity to do a 2 month contractual program with Flipkart. So that opportunity was shared by with one of my faculty, because
Hmm.
when you are a very active student in the college, or you are representing your whole student union, then you build contacts. And I feel networking and connections are the two part which are at most importance to exist in the corporate world. So I had a very good bonding with the teaching staff, non-teaching staff, or even let's say the workers there, students. So I had a very good bonding with all of them. So when I got the so one of I remember one of my teachers shared that opportunity with me of a 2-month contractual program with Flipkart. So I gave the interview and everything, and finally I got selected. So that was a learning and development internship again. I would not say an internship, it was a contractual program. It
Mhm.
was for basically Big Billion Day sale.
Uh,
So it's like 15 days. Their Flipkart trainers trained us in soft skills, in the how to use their softwares, how to handle the customers, etc. And after that, we are the ones who are training their employees, newly hired employees, in order to increase their workforce. So that I did. After that, I wanted to apply for cat, because if you have given BBA, and if you have BMS or I would say BBM, so all these degrees, after completing these, even BCom or nowadays any degree, even BTech person are also interested in doing MBA, because they feel it's a perfect combo, BTech plus MBA in finance. So they feel you'll get an amazing offer. So I was also very fascinated by that. Earlier I wanted to apply for cat, so I did not did any other thing, and I was just solely focusing on cat. But unfortunately cat didn't went well. And but then I realized one thing, that even in cat interviews as well, work experience is very important. Because now if I'll apply for cat, it will count it as a gap year. They won't consider it that okay, last year only you passed out and this year you are applying for cat. This particular period was count as a gap year, and it becomes very difficult in a cat interview to justify your gap year. So that's when I selected, and I thought that okay, now I'll go ahead with the job. I will
hmm.
have some corporate experience, and maybe after that, or maybe while working, I'll see that okay, whether I wanted to do MBA right now, or maybe after a few years or whatsoever. So then I started searching out for the jobs. Now, I cannot say my TNP cell that please provide me with the opportunities. Although we have an alumni relation cell, but still, I did not wanted to share it with them. So I searched it on LinkedIn. I
Hmm.
feel LinkedIn is a very good platform if you want to search for the internships or job opportunities, because वहाँ पे काफी अच्छे तरीके से information present होती है और काफी valid information present होती है.
You guys don't use Naukri.com or First Naukri, International and all those things on their
I
website?
had a profile on Internshala. I used to check it, but see, I'll be very fair with you. I wanted a company who has a good reputation,
Hmm.
because I had two things in my mind: either to get a like some business analyst role, or to get into some good firm.
Hmm.
Because I again did not have that much clarity of corporate world. So these are the two things which I had in my mind, that either this or this. Just a second.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I was saying that at that time also I did not have that much experience. So I wanted to go with a good company. So in Internshala, what I noticed is that if there is any one opportunity, there is already thousand of applicants are there who already applied, be it a startup, be it a company who is existing for last 5 years, 10 years or more. So I did not get very good opportunity there at Internshala. And Naukri.com, no, I did not apply with Naukri.com. I don't know why, but it's just that
You
I
found the
think,
LinkedIn better, right?
yeah, I found LinkedIn more authenticated, I would say, because
Hmm.
they don't call me to say that okay, this is the opportunity. I feel that if I'll apply for Naukri.com, they might give me a call any 2 days that okay, this is the opportunity, and I am not really interested with the calls, etc. So
Hmm.
that can be one of the reason that I did not go for Naukri, and I started searching it on LinkedIn.
Okay.
So yeah, I go ahead with LinkedIn, and there I used to like keep a track that okay, what all job opportunities are coming. And I remember I applied for I would say 10 to 15 opportunities. Complete 1 month I used to search everything, that okay, I used to read the job description first. then I would say that okay, this is something which really interests me. Then I used to check the qualifications, that whether my qualifications met with it or not. If
Hmm.
all of these match, then I used to go and apply for that particular role. So I remember I got rejections also. Then I got resume shortlist, but in next round also there is very much issues. But ultimately when I searched, then one of my friend, I remember she's working at EY. So she told me that if you want to apply it, then better to go with a referral. Because if you will go with a referral, there will be one benefit, that at least you will get a chance to uh, to get into an interview round. And if you're confident enough that okay, you will clear the interview, then it's a great thing. So then is when I decided that okay, now whatever job position I wanted to apply, I will go ahead with the referral. Because either you will get a campus placement or it's a referral. These two things really helped you to get at least to the interview round. Because काफी सारे जब thousands और bulk में applications होती हैं, तो it's become very difficult to shortlist them. तो कई
Correct.
बार ऐसा होता है कि आपको कॉन्फिडेंट होता है कि आप इंटरव्यू क्लियर कर लोगे, बट आपके पास अपॉर्चुनिटी आती ही नहीं है. एंड दिस एक्चुअली हैपेंड विद मी विद many of the applications that I applied. But it's okay. I thought that it happened to be
Yeah.
so
Yes.
it's fine. But so I one day I got the notification that okay, Aeon posted something. And I remember a few of my seniors already worked with Aeon, and I have heard about Aeon, that Aeon is a very employee centric company.
Hmm.
And culture there is very much amazing, and people used to enjoy and learn new things. So it was a, when I see the benefit processor one, I could not really know that okay, what will be my work. Because we heard the opportunities such as analyst roles, consultants roles, benefits processor. We really don't know what the benefits processor do. So same thing was going on in my head as well. Even though I read the job description, but I could not really get it what I had to do. So then I started searching that whom I can ask to know whether what this person do. So there was one of my senior who passed out from the same college. Then I got the help from alumni relations cell. And actually we only are the persons who introduced alumni relations cell into our college. That okay,
Hmm.
this really needs to be done in our department. We had one in college, but in our department it is very much important. So from there I got the contact, and then she told me that okay, this is the work of a benefits processor, and you should know Excel and everything, and so and so. So I asked her that will it be fine if you can provide me the referral. So fortunately she was there in the firm, and she was like that I was about to actually she also applied for MBA. So I asked her few days back to provide me the referral. And she was serving a notice period. So she was like that I'm not really sure whether they will consider my referral or not, but I'll ask them. So thankfully she asked, and then probably I got a call from HR that I we got your resume from this particular person, and this and that. I had an HR round first, where she asked me the basic questions that about the introduction, and do you know about the role, and like the basic questions that okay, you live far away, so
Basically,
will you
visual
be.
work, right, for you.
Yeah, I can say it's a easy one. Relocation questions, basic.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah. Then they shared one assessment with me. The second round was the assessment round. Assessment was also, I would say, a basic aptitude test only, where they were testing the English, the working skills, the multitasking skills. So all of that. Then after clearing the assessment, I had my first round with the manager there. And I would say that was one of my favorite interview till now. जितने भी interviews मैंने दिए उन सब में से that was the my most favorite interview. Because I was very nervous in that interview. क्योंकि लास्ट इंटरव्यू जो मैंने दिया था वो मैंने 2022 में दिया था कॉलेज प्लेसमेंट्स के टाइम पे. उसके
That will be
बाद
a good
से
gap. Hmm.
या उसके बाद मैंने बीच में एक इंटरव्यू दिया था फ्लिपकार्ट वाला. बट आई फील कि वो दैट वाज आल्सो ओके, मतलब इतना ज्यादा मेरे को प्रेशर नहीं था उसका. But
Hmm.
this time I was really concerned because I wanted to work in a corporate.
Hmm.
So I was nervous at that time, but I was excited too. I had gone through my resume that okay, this things if I am putting, then I had to prepare an answer for all of it. So I was ready for it. And when and I would also say that manager was also very nice. Like in the interview itself, I got to know that okay, how are the managers are going to be at Aeon. They are very much supportive. They understand the pressure. Uh,
Yeah.
that okay, this person is giving the interview, then thoda bahut pressure hota hai, nervousness hoti hai, so they understand all of it. So they try to make you feel comfortable. So he again started with the introduction, then he asked me to go through the CV, and I explained him about the position of responsibilities that I had. I told him about the internships. Then he cross questioned me about the internships. So that's why I was saying that it is very important to have some learning. Because suppose if I mentioned that I had this internship and
And
he
more
asked
learning,
me,
more learning
yeah,
is important. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he'll ask me, and if I'll say there was no as such learning, then rather than a positive, it will create a negative impact. So I just made sure that I'll mention two internships there, one with Flipkart, one with Chayos, where I got a very good learnings. So I told him about that. Then he cross questioned me in that. So after discussing the internships part, then he asked me about the certifications. So during that gap year zone only, I did few certifications in digital marketing and business analyst roles, etc. So I did those. He asked me about that. Then he asked me about the justification of the gap year. Then he shifted towards the technical part. Then he was like that, okay, since you know about the work role, so tell me a little about your job role, and whether you know MS Excel or not, because MS Excel is the basic requirement for this role. So I was like, okay, I know it, but it's like basic to intermediate level. बिकॉज हमने एक्सेल, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि एक्सेल एक ऐसी चीज है या कोई भी सॉफ्टवेयर, अगर आप उसको यूज करते रहते हो तो आपको वो ऑलरेडी रिमेम्बर रहता ही है, आपको
Yes,
मतलब अलग से कुछ
Excel is
लर्न कर।
Excel is vast. Excel is vast. There are many features of means tools which means we are not aware. Excel is too vast.
राइट, राइट। सो अगर हम यूज कर रहे हैं तो हमें ऐसे कोई नोट्स की जरूरत नहीं है कि ये याद रखना है, वो याद रहता है, इट्स वेरी नॉर्मल। सो जब तक कॉलेज में थे वो चीजें याद रहती थी बिकॉज डेली वर्क होता था एक्सेल पे। बट इस टाइम पे मैं वो अच्छा है कि मैंने देख लिया था क्वालिफिकेशन में कि एमएस एक्सेल है। सो आई बिफोर माई इंटरव्यू 2 to 3 days prior I started working in excel. I started watching youtube videos. I started looking for the important points, that okay, VLOOKUP is one thing which they might ask. Pivot
Yes,
table
yes.
is the most important thing. So I started looking for these videos. I started learning again. I made notes. I tried to recall it, remember it, and that really helped because he actually asked me about VLOOKUP and pivot table and many other things as well in in Excel. And out of five, I guess there was one question which I was not able to answer. So he asked me to take a guess, and guess was also little bit towards the right side. So he was pretty much convinced there that okay. Then he shifted towards the logical reasoning questions. So I was not expecting him to ask that logical reasoning questions because I thought he'll be taking the technical side and introduction and that's it. So when he asked me about the LR side, so I started with a good note. He asked me four questions. I answered two correctly, and then there was one question. I really did not able to understand that what he actually asking me, but he was also since I told you that they also understand, so he was like,
It's a kind
"It's
of
okay."
stress test also. Sometimes complex
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, yeah.
How
Confidence.
level stress. Okay.
Yeah, they were actually checking the confidence and how well I can answer into that situation. It doesn't matter whether I also, if it matters that if you answer the right or wrong, but they judge you that how confident you are while answering your question and what is the justification behind your answer. Suppose even in logical question, if your answer is wrong, but your justification, your thought process is correct, that's
Yes.
also fine.
Mhm.
So yeah, this all happens, and then finally towards the end he asked that do you have any such questions or not. So I think this is one good opportunity to make a mark, although I didn't ask a very good question there. But I know this one thing, that if any interviewer is asking you that whether you want to ask anything or not, do utilize that particular question, because that can really help you to get a role. So that was one thing. So I just asked him that okay, what how many rounds do I need to give if I clear this round. So he was kind enough. He was like that if I'll proceed your name further, then you will be having one more round. And he just gave me a little bit hint that okay, you were good enough, that I can pass it on. So it really boosted my confidence, and I was really happy after that interview. Then the last interview was with the senior manager, and that I was again little bit nervous because it was with the senior manager and the final round. So he started with the introduction. Then after the introduction, he asked me about SQL, and I was like, SQL is not the requirement of this job, and I didn't know anything about SQL. So I just simply told him that, sorry sir, I don't know anything about SQL, and but if it's a job requirement, then I'm ready to learn. So
Hmm.
this is also one thing which I would like to share and pass it on to whosoever who will see this video, that whenever you don't know anything, rather than just saying no, try to make it something that you are ready to learn, because that really creates an impact. So, and don't be like that. Suppose if he asked me that whether I know SQL or not, and suppose I said that okay, I know basic level, and he starts asking me question and I am unable to answer, then it's a dishonesty.
It's
So
always better to make it clear than
yeah,
show
yeah.
attitude that we can probably learn it fast or probably something like
Yes, correct.
that.
So
Great.
that is what he asked me. So I just made it clear that okay, I don't know anything about SQL, but I'm ready to learn. Then he asked me that okay, what other softwares do you know? So when he asked me this question, then I was like, there was only one MS Excel which was the requirement. But rather than saying just one, now it is again, I feel जैसे एग्जाम्स में होता है ना कि एक स्टेटमेंट आती है बट आपको उसे स्ट्रेच करना है अच्छे से लॉन्ग आंसर के लिए. So MS Excel is my only answer. But how I presented it is like I told him that I know MS Office, in which I know the PowerPoint and Excel and Word. Apart from it, I also know the softwares which I learned from the Flipkart. So this again really helped me, because Flipkart I learned LMS, Smart
Yeah,
Assist.
yeah.
So they were pretty much happy to know that okay, although these softwares are not used it at Aeon, but
Mhm.
since I have the numbers, so I can really present it. So he was like okay. Then he asked me questions related to Excel, cross questioned me a lot into that Excel zone. And then he asked me a few questions more, and then he was like, do you have any question for me again? So I just simply asked him that, sir, is there any particular requirement, or is it a necessity to know SQL for this role? Because I wanted a clarity from my side. So he was like, no, no, I was just asking it to know whether you know it or not, but it does not really create an impact. That you don't know, it's also fine. So I was like okay. So
That's
it
great.
doesn't, yeah.
Great.
So then it ended, then finally I got an offer letter and I was very
Very good.
happy.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think very comprehensively you covered many aspects. The last question for you.
Yeah.
Suppose today or tomorrow you are entering now in BMS
Hmm.
and you are getting the opportunity to hear yourself in your interview. Suppose you hear or see these interviews that you've gone through.
Hmm.
Would it would it help?
Okay. So I feel it will definitely help,
Hmm.
because again, the point which I mentioned regarding the internship, number of internships, because कॉलेज में आप जब आ जाते हो ना, तो बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी होती हैं जो आपको बोला जाता है ये कर लो. Like
Hmm.
हमें first day I remember our seniors told us that build a profile on LinkedIn, and you
Hmm.
should at least have 500 connections, in
Hmm.
order that your profile will मतलब it will be very much visible to the recruiters there.
Hmm.
वेल इट्स नॉट द केस कि आप किसी को भी कनेक्शन
Yeah.
रिक्वेस्ट भेज दोगे. तो लिंक्डइन पे आने के लिए आपको पता होना चाहिए कि लिंक्डइन आप यूज कैसे करते हो. पहले आप उसको जानो धीरे धीरे सॉफ्टवेयर को, रादर देन सेंडिंग रिक्वेस्ट इन बल्क.
Hmm.
सो वो कुछ चीजें जैसे हम, बेसिक चीज मेरी ये है कि अगर कोई भी आपको कुछ भी चीज कह रहा है, आप सुनो, उसको अच्छे से रिस्पॉन्ड करो, बट आप उसको ब्लाइंडली फॉलो मत करो. आप
Hmm.
उसको, आप खुद से सोचो कि क्या ये चीज अगर आप कर रहे हो ये ठीक है. अगर आपको क्लैरिटी नहीं मिल रही है, आप इतने सारे हमारे पास ऑनलाइन प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं और कंटेंट अवेलेबल है, आपको ढूंढना आना चाहिए. अगर आप जेन्युइनली इंटरेस्टेड हो, यूट्यूब है, गूगल है, वहां से आपको अगर 3 वीडियोस भी मिल रही हैं आपको सही, वहां से आपको कंटेंट मिल रहा है, तो आपको एटलीस्ट क्लैरिटी मिल रही है कि ठीक है,
Correct.
लिंक्डइन को हम इस तरीके से यूज करते हैं. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई वांटेड टू टेल इट टू एवरीबॉडी हु विल बी जॉइनिंग एनी न्यू कोर्स और एनीथिंग, दैट ओके, इवन इफ यू एंटर इनटू दैट कोर्स एंड यू फील दैट ये कोर्स मेरे इंटरेस्ट का नहीं है, या मम्मी पापा ने बोला तो इसलिए मैं ये कोर्स कर रहा हूँ, if that also the case, then okay, do it, complete it. But then at least towards the end you should have an answer that what you want to do. Because अगर वो सब करने के बाद भी आप blank ही हो, तो फिर तो कुछ benefit ही नहीं हुआ.
Great. Thanks, Anjali. It was really, really nice. Reason I asked you this question because this is what is going to happen. Such
Yeah,
such learnings are going to be provided to the students who are just entering or maybe in the first year, second year, so that they can basically command their career better way. This is
right.
what the social charge will do or is doing right now. This is what
Okay.
it is. Thank you very much for your time. So I'm just pausing.